5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve. This is Live with Neve. Iconic musicians, comedy, and God knows what else. Hold on!
Lord have mercy. Welcome to the prayer hour. And here on Live with Neve, we're going to have us a little devolution, a little healing, a little feeling, a little good bit of mojo. We're going to have a black cat's bone and rub it in places of our bodies nobody knew existed before. And this will save you from the scourge of athlete's foot, fungus. It's gluten-free and it's positive energy bearing. So how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Second show of the new year. Had a couple of guests who didn't make it, and it is the new year, and people are still kind of recovering from the Christmas torpor, which for me started like the day before or the week before Thanksgiving and has proceeded onwards. I've got my sidekick today, will be with me, Mandy Shee. She's moosing and sprucing in the dressing room, and it's a well-equipped dressing room. It's got a mirror, and it's like got a big bouquet of flowers next to it. It's got like, it's got little sniffy shit that you sniff and poof. It's all that good ladylike stuff. And we're going to have her come on, and we're just hopefully going to spend an hour of fun. We're supposed to have Sam Rourke stopping by. I do have some video for those of you who've watched the show today. I apologize. There's been some hang-ups, but not really. The only thing, you may have seen some of the parts of today's show. And if that's the case, I do have two people who had technical problems today. One, it was just a communication screw-up. One had technical problems, and our producer also had technical problems. So, hey, I'm paying such big salaries, man. I can't expect any less. This is I'm definitely not in this for the money, people. So I will remind you, we do sell advertising. So rather than beg you for donations, call up. If you have a band, buy an ad. They're really cheap. It's like you could just quit going to like some high dollar coffee shop, and rather than give some idiot at Starbucks, it's like a horrible place anyway. The coffee tastes like shit. You've always got some poor doofus kid who's sitting there and you're like, would you like a mocha latte? And then you can go, no, I want a fucking cup of coffee, dude. And he's like, and to quote Dennis Leary, he's been through this. He went in one of those places, and all he had to say was the guy behind the counter said, I don't like him. He's like, he called me a maggot-infested rodent. What the hell? I hope he dies. And then the guy spits in your coffee, and you go, and it's like $8, thank you. You go trotting down the street, you got some little goober there in your cough. So trust me, don't go there. Spend your money on advertising it Live with me, and I'll send you a 5-pound bag of coffee. How's that sound? We've got great giveaways. We will sell our soul to you. If you are old scratch and you want to show up and you got a few bucks, we might be tempted, Rick Davis, are you here? There he is. The Hasidic hitman has hit the room. Yep. My friend Rick Davis, serious ass kicking black belt, many styles. Great guy, good friend of the show. Hi, Rick. I hope you're having a great day. And I hope our friend Idan can join us one of these days. For those of you who are part of the ignorati, no kidding. For those of you who are not familiar with Idan, he is a unbelievable martial arts instructor, Krav Maga, and any other style of kicking ass on people. It's good stuff. It's good stuff for women and kids to learn. And I will just tell you, if Idan or my friend Rick trains you, you're going to be a lean, mean fighting machine, a white-hot ball of mongoose terror. Can you imagine seeing that in your mind's eye, a mongoose terror thing? It's like weasels and stuff, Oh, and I'm not talking about your insurance salesman. I'm talking about, the shit weasels who are politicians. I'm talking to the amazing Rick Davis, the Hebrew hitman on line 4. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to you, brother. What are you doing? He's asking cryptic questions. Well, I don't know. I'm halfway through this. I'm looking here. Who have we got over here? We've got Nick Clemens. Nick, come on, man. We're hanging out. Okay, well, he's got the invite. I got to play with him next week. So It's great. Next Saturday, I can literally walk down the hill to the gig. It's going to be an all-day gig. I will be there. I'm not sure what set I'm going to play, but there's like so many special guests. It reads like the who's who of New Jersey rock and roll. So it's going to be fun. Rick, I'm trying. How's that? That's my award-winning smile. Yes, this is from the folks at New Jersey. I'll punch you in the mouth and break your tooth dentistry. They specialize in giving me that charming corncob through a picket fence. Stream your show? What do you mean? Are you not seeing it? I'm confused now. It says it's streaming. All the dials and the little guy that I got chained to the toilet in there who runs the show. Is it okay in there? Here you go. Okay, I'll give you a burrito in a few hours. Just keep at it. I've got help. I've got a dreamer who I've kidnapped. You know, that whole, they can come in free anyway. So at least I'm getting next week. Oh, I see. You know what, Gina? Thank God for the women in the world, man. I'd be totally lost without you ladies, I tell you. It's like a drunk in a china shop. Oh, but I haven't been drunk in a long time. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my co-host so you can let her talk. And I don't know, let's make some fun here. Here we go. Good afternoon. What's happening up in Piscataway? Or where exactly do you live?
Yep, good old Piscataway.
Wow, you are up there in the industrial heartland of New Jersey. Right. Or at least the warehouse heartland.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Absolutely. I've been to like every business there when I worked for Muzak. Like literally every business, I cold called it and got, I got abused by the best of you up there. It was great fun. Guys would be like, "What are you, a salesman?" No, I'm a proctologist here. I'm here for your visit. I mean, I have like literally no feelings left because they burned them all off. Like, to be a walk-in sales guy in New Jersey is like, I'd rather get in a fight with somebody, depending on their size. like, for example, the Hebrew hitman, he would put a beating on me. My skills would end up, I'd just go, here, I'll just sit down and you can go away. Then I'd sneak up like an ankle biter and bite him on the ankle and run.
Yeah, exactly. You do what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to be low and scrappy,
Yeah, or sometimes it's better just to haul ass when you see him coming. So Gina, I do understand. I'm telling Gina, I do understand what you're saying now. We are going to stream portion of it. I will promise you that. It's going to be crazy because it's a live gig starting at 1 p.m, and it's going to roll till 2 a.m. The logistics of us streaming that whole show would cost Nick a tremendous amount of money. And since it's on Saturday, I could pull it together and make it happen. But just to keep, you see, we're here in a studio. I would have to run a dedicated line, have a safe spot to do the show from, and then have people roaming with cameras linking back. It would be a bit of I would have to go through a bunch of hoops, but if you're listening out there, you're supposed to be on the show anyway. What am I going to do with you, man? You don't even show up. At any rate,
that's what's going to happen in the future.
But you know what? If he calls up and says, "Hey, I've got some of that Springsteen money, and we're going to go for it," I'm going to.
That's right. Well, Gina, no goals are too large, is what he's saying.
Exactly. And if he's got the money, I got the time. Gina, yes. And to answer your question, yes, I will be playing. While I'm playing, it will be streaming. That I can assure you. In fact, if we really have it together, about an hour of the show. I'm still kind of to be determined. Gina, just to give you some heads up, when I'm playing, we will be streaming from at least 2 cameras. So that I know is a fact. During that time too, I'll be there for an hour at the beginning, depending. I'm really waiting to see which special guests are going to be the really interesting people. And considering this is Bruce Springsteen's saxophone player's son, you just don't know who could show up. I mean, I don't know. I've been trying to get together a holographic image of the big man to bring. And that way we can have the big man playing with the band and have all kinds of fun. But that might have to wait till next time, It's a good idea, though. I like it. I could tell you if I had the money, I would literally pay somebody to do it, bring it, and not tell Nick until the minute his dad popped up beside him. And he'd be like, now that would be a great unrehearsed performance.
Yeah.
So I know you're reenacting your band. How's that process going?
Great. Our name is Twisted Ginger. So you can type it in right now. and we're gonna come up in Google Twisted Ginger, do whatever you need to do, the necessary evils, and we start again in 2023, which is now
I know.
January 28th. You know, yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's it. And
Do
then
you don't you have a
um,
show in January towards the
yeah,
middle of the month?
January 28th, and then it's like you know how it is. It's you get a group together, right? And it's like you have to assess, and then ba bam, ba bam, ba bam, ba bam.
Yeah, you need good shocks because sometimes these people fall by the wayside. You want to back up over them.
Yeah,
Call me
exactly.
silly, but
So
you know
it's like the calm before the storm. The calm before the storm.
well, it's a hard thing keeping a band together. I know why so many people just say, "Look, it's my show, it's the so and so group," because sometimes if you're not just an absolute dictator about it, it's not going to work. If you have a band, I don't know if your opinion, but I've been in dozens. If I've been in too many bands, I couldn't even count or probably remember half the members. I see them on Facebook 20 years later, or I get a weird cryptic email and it says something like, "Are you the drummer who was playing in Orlando at the Drum Hall of Fame convention shit?" I'm like, "Well, I'm one of them, but depends who you're looking for."
Yeah.
I used to have my off the I used to have a fake name, and it's a drummer called Art Blakey. He's a very good
Oh yeah.
jazz man, but Art's black guy.
Yeah, you're
And
not him.
it's alleged that I was once standing next to a very well-known drummer, and we were at the bar trying to hit on chicks, and the girl asked me my name, and I told her I was Art Blakey. And this very famous person ejected a gin and tonic out of his nostrils at high
Yeah,
velocity.
nice.
He just looked at me, and I forgot that I had a tag on it with my full name. So I immediately kind of tucked it in my jacket, I'm like, and it turned into a real horror story. All I could tell you is a few weeks later or a month, somebody shows up, the chick looking for Art Blakey at one of my gigs.
No shit.
It was the worst feeling in the world because I tried to pawn her off on the guitar player. I was really being a horrible human being.
No,
But
sorry, that's hilarious.
when she came in and asked if Art Blakey was playing tonight, I heard it from across the room and
That
looked
is
and went,
beautiful.
"Oh God." I dashed out the back door of the bar. They had this thing called the Sugar Shack. So I went out to the Sugar Shack and hung out with a couple of my bandmates. And we just stayed out there until like it was time to immediately go on. They all ran in, and I was sitting there peeking in the door. And she's like walking around looking. And so I just ran on stage real quick. It was terrible, man. I was very drunk at the time. And, I was young and stupid. We'll call those youthful indiscretions at some point. When you're young and stupid, it's just as much fun as when you're old and stupid.
Yeah,
Hello,
it's beautiful.
Alu.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, you have to get, some people live a life of just quiet boredom and uni. They just sort of like don't have any type of dream or goal. And I'm not knocking it. There's something to be said for just sitting down, grabbing a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I want some more football. Listen, people, I've made money from the NFL, played bunches of gigs for them, and they pay well. They pay slow as hell, but it is a good game. And now that everybody's out there going, "Oh, we have to get rid of football. We had a man get injured." And it's freaking football. Hey, Toby, how are you, baby? Toby, greetings and salutations from here on the East Coast to West. We were just talking about you. Were you getting all tingly? I love you, Toby. And what's going on tonight? Where are you going to be on the scene tonight in LA? Toby is our friend. She is the girl from Wilshire Boulevard. I always try and send her invites, and she doesn't want to come on because it's like 7:00 in the morning.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
now,
that's hard.
I know
that early is so hard.
I know, but she comes home at like 3:00, and I sleep like a vampire. I sleep in 2 or 3 hour segments, and then I get up for a while, and then I go back to
I
sleep.
used to do that before I had my son, and no one understood my patterns. And then I had my son, and I was forced. Forced into.
It can be really productive because you're on a 24-hour schedule, and I can sleep 4 hours and be ready to get up.
I used to get so much shit done.
You get tons of shit.
Like, I was a fucking monster. Now I'm just like,
I hate it that when I do get up at that hour. That's when I do all the things I really hate to do, like pay bills or or anything that
While
resolves,
your
I have
mind
to,
is numb.
like the stuff that I really got to think about, and before I start just getting into the parts of my life that are fun, all the unfun stuff I do first thing, because the day starts feeling
That's
great. It's like, oh, look, I got zero in my bank account, but nobody's going to be calling me or hounding me. And life is good, you know? I mean, it feels better too getting up early. I just get, like you say, a million things more done.
Yep.
And the sun rises is beautiful every day. And, you know, I live like a quarter of a mile from the beach, and I know all these years I should just walk down the hill every morning. I have a
Yeah.
neighbor who does it, but I just, even when I'm being busy, like at the morning, I go, oh no, I got stuff to do. I've got to call somebody, and I'm in that full bore mode. It would be nice to just say, well, I'm going to take an hour before I do that and wander down to the beach. Just be great. I got to take more advantage of location, you know. Sometimes.
Yeah. Just get a camera. Take the camera with you. You know,
Oh,
we can
we
get
all
Neve
have
on the
our.
beach. Yeah, Neve
I
on the
have
beach.
thousands of great pictures from
Yeah.
around the world, including here. And a lot of my friends are tired of the bridge scene just because of that. So again, what we've got here is we have a failure to communicate with both of our guests are like MIA. I hate days like that where there's just no guest and
Is it
they're
storms? Are there storms a brewing?
storms of brewing. I think out in California it's getting a little better, which is cool. I'm just looking. I had some music to play. Since a couple of my guests aren't here, let me. Gosh, I don't. People, we're usually a guest-driven show, so what you have here is me ad-libbing. I'm going to go through just briefly. Let's see if there's any new news that's good. The ice baths, cryo chambers, hikes at dawn, and spa goers, they want a hardcore wellness experience. That goes against everything my body wants to do. It all sounds like misery and torture. Drop you in a freezing tank of goo and be frozen down to like 30 degrees. I mean, we're talking shrinkage of the whole body, just sucking into a total.
Yeah, you'd be like the size of like an ice cube stuck in a tree for 10 years. You know how they get like.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, just the thought of it's causing, you know, that physical action. Okay, so in news today, there's really not much, although we have like some guy who's the head of a Republican think group who he's arrested in an unwanted groping incident. God, I hate it when that happens. You know, and then let's see, we got Billy Bush. Here we go again. This is an example of a real tool. Okay, you got Billy Bush. He's a son or a nephew of W. Bush the Younger. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I do recall him getting into trouble. He's always running his crap, but apparently he was pulling some kind of a Trump-like remark about being a hoochie and, you know, grab him by the crotch or whatever he was talking about. But he's back in the news. I'm trying to look at I don't know if that's good news or bad news. It's kind of funny to me, which I don't care which party you're at. If you get caught doing some fucked up shit, I don't care who your favorite person is out there. You're watching the Live with Neve show, and we reserve the right to give them shit. If you're so dumb, I mean, seriously, if this guy's like already been in trouble, he was, okay, here it is. Let's just go. He's talking about Kendall Jenner. More than 6 years after his career was derailed by his involvement in Trump's infamous Access Hollywood tapes. That's the guy who ratted out his buddy Trump. He's even more of a tool than I think, whether you like Trump or not. You know, no snitches, man. You know, if you're in there riding along on his coattails and you don't like, if you're in for the guy, be honest to people. Don't be wishy-washy. If you like him, at least have the balls to say, I like this guy. I'm cool. Anyway, Billy's just like, he's like he's like Billy Carter of the Bush family. He's always pulling shit. And this is an example. You'd think after the last time he was famous, it's the only thing he's ever famous for was talking about grabbing Kendall Jenner's crotch. He was making crass and sexually demeaning remarks. And I want to tell all of my viewers, I'm very upset about this. Let's see. We have featured at the center, Bush made the objectifying comment while standing in front of a large celebrity wall. It was screened, plastered with images of female celebrities dressed in provocative Halloween garb. Lift and separate, ladies. Featured at the center was Jenner, the second youngest and stupidest of the famed Kardashian sisters, dressed up as Jessie, the free-spirited cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, they call her, the immensely popular Pixar pigs. After looking at Jenner's photo on the screen, Bush informed and asked his production crew for the name of the character. An off-screen remark informs him that the name is Jesse, prompting Bush to toss out his crude sexual remark, referencing the name of the character's love interest, Woody, the lead protagonist of Toy Story. I'm sorry. This is just ridiculous stuff. Oh my God. I can't make this up. So, at any rate, this time, let's see, he was allegedly a little more demure. I did try and F her. She was married. Oh my gosh, this gets in the whole Trump things. Okay. We know that things are just going to get weird. And, you know, one thing, all of us, when we do dumb shit, it happens to the best of us. You pull things, you get caught. It's all of a sudden your life can be it's like a hellhole. But when you're at that level of celebrity, if you're a member of the Bush family, I mean, I think I scare my family sometimes. And yet they don't have to deal with me on television. Well, actually, maybe they do, but I'm not a Bush. But I would think that George,
that's a great motto.
I would think what happens? Does W call him up on the phone? Hey, you know, Grandpa, Poppy would be really pissed at you. You know, think about the family name. God almighty. Last thing, it was okay when you were at Harvard doing acid, son, but this is no way to go through life. I want you to come down to the ranch. We're going to make you go out and bale hay for a year or two.
I don't know. If I was him, I'd say Bush as much as possible. Be like, what do you think? This is what a Bush does? What kind of Bush are you? You're not a Bush.
Is that... Well, that's like Barber's Bush. It was a band a friend of mine had in Florida. I thought it was the greatest name for a band ever. I mean, he should have trademarked it. Here we've got old silver-haired Mrs. Bush. Whether you hated the Bush family or not, who the hell hated Mrs. Bush, you know? It's like Jimmy Carter. Whether you hated him or loved him, I love Jimmy Carter. He was pretty inept as far as an economist, and he wasn't the greatest president, but he had soul, and he was a good man. I'm convinced in his heart. It's not like he hated the country or anything. He had no skullduggery in him. He's the kind of guy, if I was his nephew, he'd just be praying. He'd be like, oh boy, that guy's got the devil in him. And, you know, I can tell you the devil left a long time ago. I didn't have enough in my account for him. So you just like, forget it. Let the Christians work on you. You know, forget it. You're a pain in the ass. I got other problems. He's got it easier, man. He's like, I don't know. I don't know. The Billy Bush, I think that's enough of Bush news for today because, you know, one in the hand is worth two in the bush. I think Cousin Junior's been whistling through a wheat field. In the bush! I got a cough going on today. My numbers are dropping like flies again. But remember, nobody cares, least of all me, because this shit, remember, nobody appreciates my comedy and humor right now. Mark my words, people.
You're hilarious right now.
You know, 100 years from now, they're going to find this show, and I'm going to be more famous than Jack Parr. It's going to be, who the hell is Jack Parr? Everybody's saying in the audience. I'm sorry, all you millennials and whatever other name they've come up with, you young whippersnappers. All I know is get the fuck out of my yard. At this place, you don't worry about the dog. I might come out with a big punji stick and smack you around a little bit. We don't like trespassers here. Let's get out of here, you kids. So here we go. In good news, a brutal tiger fight. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about this. This is why circuses are kind of fucked up. And I love big cats. I want to own a cougar at some point. I've already dated a couple, but you know, if you own one, you get more value out of the whole procedure. But a circus audience was horrified after witnessing a bloody fight between the two tigers, with one being really bit. That's the sad side. I would have found it more entertaining if they jumped on this lion tamer. Now that's entertainment, you know. You're in there smacking at a lion. You take your chances, man. I don't care. Remember, people, everybody out there says, oh, we're just watching because we like the circus. Bullshit. Uncle Neil knows better. As soon as that guy get munched, it's sort of like people will be pulling their cell phone out, watching it on television, trying to videotape it to spread it around the world like a virus. It's like a herpes virus that instantaneously infects 7 million people around the country. And man, that is some hell to pay. Okay, so that's not really good news. That's disappointing. I don't like seeing animals abused. And then we have, this is an interesting story. If you're into making money on the side, serious cash, you can do what's called crypto coin mining. Don't I sound like a commercial for it? Yes, that's right. You can get into crypto coin mining. These guys are putting antennas up in the Black Hills in Utah and another, no, that's in Dakota, excuse me. At any rate, they're putting up these antennas, and they're using them. They're solar powered, and they're doing bit mining. Crazy stuff. I don't understand it all yet, but I'm going to be doing a little bit.
It's
I'm going to
weird.
dig into it. It's weird stuff, but if it can make you
check it out.
coin,
It's really it's too complicated for me to get into now. But like
and you're talking to a drummer.
What
remember
the hell?
this?
The what?
She's starting them gazintas now. I'm getting confused, people. So, other news. Let's see. There's an app that's doxing Billie Eilish's home. Billie Eilish, for those old senior bastards that don't know anybody in modern music, is a young. She's about 18 or 19 now, but she's a very interesting singer for the younger crowd. I say that she's weird and quirky, and she's original, and she's different than all the other crap out there. There's another chick out there right now who's, I think she's called Mary's Daughter. Have you seen her?
No.
She sings these crazy songs about like growing up in a trailer park. And it works. She's about 19. Getting back to Billie Eilish, I'd say both of these kids, to me, they're like different and weird as hell. And I dig them. My inner 14-year-old wants to marry both of them, or at least have a arranged weekend or something. When I was 20, I would have been like, man, these chicks are crazy. We got to go out. Anyhow, people, check them both out. It's weird. The app doxes her home. Let's see. For those of you seniors who don't know what doxing means, that's where you post somebody's address and you call fire department and say their house is on fire and all that kind of shit. It's really bad, and only douchebags do it. That's the Neil report. If you have no reason to know that unless somebody's done it. But like this, they've done stuff like Andrew Frame led the mass in a. It was just crazy. People are trying to cash in on vigilantism by doxing people, videotaping it, getting it on the internet, on YouTube, and getting millions of views to make some coin off it. And it puts people at risk. Fire, ambulance, sometimes SWAT teams, they call to say there's gunfire in a house. It's just crazy stuff.
Who does that? Who does that?
Douchebags. The kind of people who have no life, and they basically get off on inflicting pain and misery. They're kind of, masochists. No, that's somebody digs getting whipped on. What do you call it? A sadist, I guess. Is somebody who likes to whip on people. I don't know. Wow, no kidding. Gina's giving us the LA report. They tried to burglarize their house last night. Only in LA, man. I could tell you, Gina, when I moved to LA, anybody shows up at my house, you will see it on the news. I'll have them hanging up in the garage upside down by the feet, tell them to come on in. Get a picture of him. Here's his ID. We'll show the poor victim. They will never come back to my place. I will tar and feather their ass. I guarantee you it'll be a fun party. Hey, kids, it's piñata time. We'll give them all. We don't want to hurt them too bad. So we give them just like some kind of little wiffle ball bat. And they can go out and kind of, moderately hurt it. I mean, who wouldn't like to see that? It's like they have those shows where there's some pervert, he calls up, he's going to meet a 14-year-old, and they kick open the door, and there's like 8 cops, or even better, there's a group of bikers who do it. My theory is the bikers strike far more fear into the average pervo molesting guy than any cop.
Yeah.
We do have an update. Thank you, Gina. They were caught and arrested. Well, duh. I mean, these guys, they're people. If you're a criminal, look, seriously, you're stupid. So don't even try, okay? There's surveillance everywhere. Your DNA is everywhere.
Yeah.
If you fart in church, man, they can track you down using a DNA ancestry app.
Yeah, and tell you what you ate for lunch. So
tell you what you ate for lunch. That only costs extra $30. So, I'm telling you, man. It really. So we've got an update. They did catch Billie Eilish. I wonder if this guy who was like going into her house and wrote this app are the same person. Let's see if we've got a picture of. It said whoever. Let's see. Wow, this is somebody. This was a bunch of people who lit a freaking fire in the Hollywood Hills to break on the on-air app, and they offered an award for 10 grand. I think people who go out and light fires need to have their hand held over the fire for 30 seconds. I'm sorry, I'm really a mean person, and I should be boiled in oil myself, but there will be no crime when Neil is king, I promise you. You can walk safely because an armed society is a polite society. When everybody's packing, everybody's got good manners. I'm telling you, man, it's the problem in America. If they would just let us drink from the skulls of our enemies, have our cup of coffee, shit would settle down in days, man. You'd have no.
It's really true. It's really kind of true.
I mean, I'm sorry if you let even the vigilante stuff. I used to think that was crazy and terrible, but you know, everybody's watched Bronson as a kid. If you're in my age group, I was 13. I was a skinny, scrawny little guy, just like I am now. Basically, I'm not a threat to anybody. But I watched that movie. I could turn into Bronson instantly. You know, I'm like, all right. He's like shooting guys who raped his wife, and it was just so over the top violence back in those days. The movie was so crazy. But, you know, there's just too much of that bullshit tolerated. Now we've got no bail. And I mean, I'm for like, if you go out and do something evil that involves hurting somebody either physically or really badly mentally, locked up, man. No game time for certain crimes. You just go away. We're going to give you just for basic.
It's once
I'm
you're
pretty
like
lenient.
directly affecting someone else's well-being. It's
yeah.
Like,
and if you've done things more than once, one time you do something stupid. Like there's cases where, like, for example, it's on the edge. If you have a 19-year-old kid, he graduated high school that year and he's been dating his junior girlfriend who's going to be a senior the following year. If they screwing around having a good time, the dude can get arrested and end up with a pedophile file, which that's just an example of where the justice system, instead of being run by judges who see the shit every day, they use these mandatory sentencing. And like, I don't think an 18-year-old kid, because he sleeps with his girlfriend, gets caught and the parents are vindictive, deserves to be put into a rapist intervention program or any of the other things that they're charged with. Ruins a kid's life forever. And it's just not good justice. But the politicians write bills so they look like they're doing something. They're tough on crime, but they're the dumbest animals on earth. Anytime you get a bunch of politicians together, you tell them that we need a Rubik's Cube, and they'll go in the back room and come out and they'll hand you like a squirrel and go, here it is. And they'll tell you it was a $45 billion squirrel and it has no moving parts. And I'd be like, well, we wanted a Rubik's Cube, but that's quite a squirrel you got there. Anyhow, I ramble on. So that's it. Vigilante activity. Here we go. Somebody's going to complain and say we were advocating such tomfuckery, but we're not.
I
we
know
just
who I blame it on. Scientologists.
Is it who?
Scientologists.
Oh yeah, yes. They are bad, man. They're probably lurking. I forgot about them. You better watch out.
Bringing it up.
They might be watching you by now. You've been on the show a couple times.
Behind the black curtain.
Oh, you do have a black curtain in there.
Yep.
You got anybody lurking back there?
Yeah.
Is your son back there, or is he spying on the show? Mom talks to some weird guy. He could tell your ex something like, Mom's on the internet with this weird guy. He's really fucking strange. I'm sorry. Out of the mouths of babes, it could be disastrous to your career.
It's not me, baby. It's not
me. You're going to be here under an alias, It's like witness protection shit. I'm once here looking again to find good news. We got about a half hour. Let's see. Who would have got? There is a new truck. Ram has unveiled a Tesla killer, they say. It's a big electronic truck. In LA, people can't even keep their air conditioner running. And I just wonder how they're going to power all these jumbo electric trucks. And how it's going to work when everybody plugs it into the grid, which is already disastrously almost all over the United States in shitty shape. Just look at our great state. We lead the nation in power fuck-ups, cutoffs, longest service response times, and it sucks because we got all these hardworking people who go out in the rain and snow. It isn't the guys in the company who do the work. What they need to do is hire a guy who worked his way up from being a lineman and been out at 3 a.m. in the fucking snow, and make him the president, because this shit would cease because those guys who actually do it. Instead, they hire some dorky Ellie who's got an accounting degree. The guy, he's got a chainsaw at home and a flannel shirt. He hasn't even read the manual or taken it out of the box, but it's on a shelf in the garage. He's got a weed whacker there. He's got all the tools, and then he hires some Mexican guy for $50 a month. Go out there and do it by hand. It's like, I don't know. I'm rambling, but when the show gets to this point on a Friday, we don't have a guest, and we already talked about the porn star's reaction to Louisiana law, where now to get on the porn site, you have got to show and give them your ID, which for those of you who missed this morning's show or just came in, or those of you who just left, what we're going to say is we have what the porn people are saying about it. The girls, Allie Ray, I can't say that I recognize any of these people, but a simple pop-up. She has a 13-year-old son, and I'm sure her son has lots of friends who think she is hot as Stacy's mom and got it going on. Hell, man, none of my friends' parents were like porn mom, but I can tell you a couple of them were super hot, man. I was 18. I was looking at my friend's mom, going, man, she's a hot woman, you know. Be some kind of graduate thing going on in my head. I was like, God only knows. So they're basically saying it's like when you go on a website, you'll have to check that you're over 21. But down in Louisiana, you're going to have to type in your driver's license. And as I said earlier, people are just going to go ahead and sign up for the porn site because they don't want your social security number, and they don't want any driver's license or personally identifiable material. First off, everybody in America says they don't watch this stuff, and yet it drives the internet. It drove the technology that enables us to have this show. If it wasn't for all the people spanking their monkey out there, we wouldn't have had video. Man, it's a good thing porn came along before COVID did, because, you know, now we can sit and talk and actually all the things the internet was supposed to do, teach us about things. Yeah, teach us about banging some fat broad, you know, in a Walmart or something. I don't know. But so anyhow, we're going to just keep moving along here in the topic trail. I here's this young lady, and I can just say she's upset. She seems like the typical, you know.
About what?
She's got the look. Gosh, man, she does have the look, doesn't she? She's a fine-looking young lady. I guess I'm really a bad man, too, because I'm objectifying her, and I just called her like a hot bunny or whatever. I don't know. Is that bad, really? I mean, if a woman sees a good-looking guy, I've heard you guys. I've heard ladies talk.
Yeah, we can be pretty, yeah, we say stuff.
I think
Everyone
it's pretty.
says stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, half of it, hell, you know, it's like when we do the show, they were caught and arrested. I thought she was talking about us there. I just glanced at that. Yeah, but, you know, people look at people all the time. And, you know, there's an old saying in the South, if it doesn't matter where you get your appetite as long as you eat at home. That was Bill Clinton's theme song, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own joke, but sometimes on a Friday, I can't help myself. You know what? Compliments are nice. And, you know, more guys, if they're a little bit more of a gentleman, I really feel like some of these young guys have no clue. They call up, it's like, do you want to do pizza?
Yeah, it's really weird.
The whole hookup culture.
I said that recently, too.
It's like you haven't even met them. Yeah. And they're just like, let's just hook up and, you know, do the deed. I mean, at least, guys, don't be a cheap shitheel. Take her out, man. And don't take her to the movies. It's the worst place for a first date you could ever fucking ask for. You got to sit there. You got to be quiet. You don't know if the person sitting next to you is like the chick's serial mom or serial dad or Ted fucking Bundy. So you're sitting there with some stranger, and you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You know, you end up with some weirdo, and then you're stuck with them for an hour and a half.
Yeah, right next to them. Yeah.
Right, and they're like
teenagers who are trying to make moves. That's what a first date movie like thing is.
I would think the first Netflix and chill is after the second or third date, where you've gone out, you've gone through the formalities before you finally say it's time to like go and, you know, get a little more friendly. If so, check the health card, you know, make sure you have all that shit covered, and life would be a lot easier. But you know, the world's full of some funny people, man. I never thought I'd see a headline that just says that the legendary actress, I didn't know there was a legendary porn queen, personally. They all look the same, and they're all basically doing the same 3 or 4 things. What do I know? I mean, I can just say this from having briefly dated a stripper or two. You just don't want to hang with crazy, man.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of damaged goods, and they've had horrible lives, a lot of them. They're just brutalized. For all the pretty women out there who think they're going to get rich or go to UCLA and become a brain surgeon, it's like 0.001% of those girls at a strip club. It's terrible. You take these young, beautiful women in, and by the time they're 40, they're ragged out.
Yeah.
It's a brutal life. It's not pretty, and I never judge someone for what they do to make a living. People have to eat, and a lot of people in this culture, they think, "Oh, I'm so high and mighty, I don't ever have to do that." Well, the only thing that keeps some people from having to do really heinous shit is they have money and they're insulated. If
Yeah.
somebody's out there who's ever been homeless, or I've seen tons of women who've gotten into some pretty shitty situations and had to prostitute themselves to get out of it. And that wasn't what I'd call some pretty woman fucking story. We're talking about desperation and just
Yeah.
fucking,
That's gritty shit. It's
it's
hard
gritty and it's
shit.
tough,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of assholes in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, a pimp is like the lowest form of life. If I was the president, I would push for legal prostitution, but only guys, no pimps. Period. If you're a pimp, you got to be a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of singing mothers with no families have to be dancers. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And when I see people look down their nose, I know a lot of those women. There's a lot of them who'd end up with a picture perfect life, but a lot of them make enough money to save up the money, get out of the apartment with the dickhead boyfriend or husband or whatever, and they make a living for themselves. They eventually end up. A lot of those women know how to talk to people. They know how to talk to guys. You can't look at people what they've done to survive. And I'd hire people. I don't care what they've done. I want to know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Do they have that? Can they, get going single? Yes. Yeah, it's and especially now where the economy's screwed. I mean, hell, hell, if things get much tougher, I'll have to sell myself online here on the show. Oh my God, it's just terrible things that go through my mind sometimes. I'm telling you, it's a bad day. We're only at 41 minutes. We've covered it all today. So far, we've covered prostitution, ladies' responses to the porn law, the tiger, the cryo chamber. I don't know. Let's see. We got Billy Bush. And then you have ISIS, those terrorist guys that live out in the desert, crapping holes. They're planning a comeback tour in 23. I don't know, man. You guys better watch out. Old W is going to come back. W is going to come back, and he's going to send a bunch of armies and people and fuck you up again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, ISIS is just like a bunch that, go run away, people. We don't like you. And right now, once again, the New York great management that they do. Oh yeah, that's some good news, Gina. Once again, damn right. And that, it's like in Philadelphia once they had Santa Claus there and people were throwing batteries at him. Some of the stuff that people were writing about this guy just over their football rivalry, I was like, what a bunch of dicks you guys are. I mean, what more you can't even have an ounce of sympathy for a guy who's laying there dying because you prefer your team over them. I mean, oh Lord, it's just some of the crazy stuff.
That's not right. That's not right.
That is no way to go through life, son. That's what I tell them all, And we've got, we have, the Prince of Wales is just like going crazy, man. He'll never get close to he is like so persona. His new book's coming out. The guy's a wanker, man. He did a tell-all book where he like rags on his brother and he tells all these tawdry secrets about his wife. I know people buy it. I wouldn't buy it, nor would I dignify reading it. There's nothing in that book that I'm surprised some young princeling would do. In fact, if I write my own memoir someday, I'm sure I got more stories than Prince of Wales had. He's a little sheltered environment. Trust me, I've seen it all. Oh, we'll bring the Prince of Wales. I'd have to slap him around and tell him to get his mind right. He's all screwed in the head. He reveals how he lost his virginity. He probably gave the chick's name. What a dirtball, Well, so I had one of the chambermaids, and I bet her in the guest bathroom. But we've been doing that for centuries. Yes, I think can I have another? That's it. He's a fucking prince. I slap him around on the lacrosse field, go up and cock him one right in the head, running by him. Oh, sorry there, Limey. Fucking A, man. At any rate, his family, they like hate his guts now. And why I'm even talking about it, just because I find it ludicrous at the amount of time, but here I am. And we've got so-called America's oldest person has died at 115. I will tell you, people, I want to live 115. Let's see if it's a man, woman, man, or beast. Bessie Hendricks died at the age. She's lived through 21 presidents, the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, and now COVID. Think about it. She was ready to fucking go, man.
Wow.
And our sympathies go out to your family, man. You know, really. You lived a glorious life, 115. She said she said the secret to hard living, living life, not hard living, that's my specialty. Um, she said her son added that she was partial to sweets. The super centenarian. I like the sound of that. Super centenarian, super centenarian. It's like when you do your hand exercise. Super centenarian, super centenarian. You can use that for a count. Help your rapping skills. She's lived through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Korean War, Iraq, Afghanistan War, the war of the stupid and ignorant between the dumb and the stupid, which is still going on, which will be the endless war between man and stupidity. She has a big-ass cake here. It also says she liked to smoke a couple of joints in the evening.
Nice.
Glass of whiskey, a couple of joints, and they said she was the belle of the ball at the nursing home until she was 90.
I believe it.
She slipped and fell doing women's MMA. They said she was a killer in the ring. She'd sometimes bring a brass sock or brass hand thing and pop people, man. She was a beast. What a lovely lady. Bessie, you sound like my grandmother, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know this poor woman. Here we are destroying her reputation. Retailers are divided over whether to sell the stupid book. I'm back to that for a second. We've talked about doxing for all of you seasoned citizens. Gina, the Real Housewife phenomenon, I know there's one from Los Angeles, and I have to ask you, have you encountered any of these fine ladies of the evening? I kind of feel like maybe we should get one on the show. I would really like to talk to one of those girls and find out what makes them tick. It'd be fun. The ones from New Jersey would be like, yeah, fuck yourself, Neve. What the fuck? You stupid bastard. Don't touch me. Is that ass for real, honey? You come near me, I'll stab you with a fucking hat in you dirtball. It'll be almost as fun as like Mob Wives. That's the show that
Yeah.
I want to go on like Mob Wives. I want to be the new host for it. That would be the best gig in the world because I would have so much fun just double entendreing those poor women. I don't know. I'm going to ask any of you ladies here. Do you think any of those women have an IQ? Well, they're smart and they're making money. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But hanging out with them, they're not hard to find. I love you, Gina. Oh, man. You're not kidding. Yeah, I think having one of those on the show could be dangerous. I'm afraid some of those ladies look like they'd kick your ass. I mean, they're the kind of chicks, they're the kind of chicks that get drunk at a party and they get ugly and they start throwing shot glasses at you and they tell your wife that they slept with you in the bathroom. You know, even if they didn't, they'll tell them that just to make your wife
just to mess with you. Yeah.
Your wife will be like, what do you mean you slept in the bathroom? I didn't sleep in the bathroom with her. I didn't even go in the bathroom this time. You know, it's like, give me a break. Yeah, so we've covered hot wives. They're not hard to find. I love it. I don't know, people. Biden says record number of Americans employed. There you go. They're all at McDonald's, but $15 an hour to swing burgers. Fucking A. There's worse gigs. Trust me. I've done worse jobs. In fact, before we end the show, let's talk about what is the worst job anybody's held here. We'll start with you, Mandy, because you're here, and like the absolute worst.
Well,
or have you been lucky? Oh, the stock market, good.
No, I've not been like I've been working since like my first job was when I was 15, and maybe that was probably my worst job. It was at a hot dog cart, and in the Woodbury Commons, you know, like where like the Woodbury, it's like the huge. Now it's like this huge outlet.
Sure, yeah, I know where that is. Right.
All right, back in the old days, it was a small, like it's not like what it was now. And that's what I would have to do is like go to where all the food stores were in the food court, load up my hot dog cart, and roll it out.
And were they good sausages or were they limp and
they were good. No, they were good.
Yeah,
they were good. Yeah,
were they Hebrew National?
No, but
I'm sorry, people out there. You know,
those are my favorite.
Mazel tov. There's nothing like a Jewish hot dog. And trust me, ladies, you'll have to find out on your own. I'm sorry.
But if you know.
You know what? It's the end of the day. It's just, I'm like shot, man. I'm running out of things. What's this? Was this? I had to try and get them jobs. Oh man, when I was out there, Gina, we talked about that. This poor woman. Can you imagine? They send her. She's tiny. She's very petite. I can't imagine them. Like if I was her boss, there's no way I would send her down to Skid Row. I'm the kind of guy. I'd be down there with 2 cans of bear spray, at least 2 tasers, a boot gun, a throwaway gun in the trunk, and a big pack and heat on my side because it's crazy down there. I mean, there's like every form of dangerous person. Including me. So I don't know. Gina, did you like bring them Twinkies and stuff to try and, you know, I could just see her approaching some homeless guy who's really crusted up. And he's like, I don't want that. I want some bad day 2020. The only way to get through that job, I hate to tell you people, so I'm unfit for civil service because if I had to look at Gina. Gina, I would have been down there handing them out. You know, get a couple of bottles of MD 2020. This is how you got to run it. You got to think out of the box. So the way first off, it's like anything in the world. People want to gravitate to a lead. So the first thing you do, you get down and you smack down a couple of the biggest guys. The rest of them, you give them money and you tell them you'll be by every week, but you got to get a couple of guys. You tell them they're the enforcers down there. Any of these bums and people are stirring shit up, you kick them out. We hire our own bums to take care of the antisocial bums. Remember, you know, order is a good thing. Those bums that are out there, a lot of them are people just like me and you sleeping in a fucking tent. The last thing they want is some deranged flock of freak kicking in the tent, jumping in, telling them they want to make love all night, sweet Barry White style. You know, at that point, you need bear spray. So we should give it to all the people on Skid Row. Again, my theory, an armed society is a polite society. And if nothing else, it would be more entertaining YouTube videos for late at night when you really feel bad about yourself. You go on and watch bum fights or something. Again, another symptom of our times that I just really don't understand. I mean, I can sit here and laugh at it. But can you imagine being so bereft of any morality whatsoever that you go out and film bums and give them money to fight? I mean, I've done some stupid things, but nothing mean like that. That's just like how bad and evil inside. Like you go out and kick puppies or something. Yeah. Am I right? I mean, what do you guys think? So Gina, when you're a Skid Row person, just in a thumbnail or a 12, this is like worse than Twitter. You can't get a whole thought out. But what did you do? Did you have any, you know, adventures? Did you have any marriage proposals, things while you were down there? I mean, you're a pretty hot chick. If I was a homeless guy, poor woman, I was sitting here. I can't see her down there. It's just this. I'm in my mind going, what were they thinking? She's a nice lady, you know. It's like I can't imagine if I was her boss. I'd be like, okay, we're going to put you here at the office, and you can do intake on the families. You had strange experiences. I can just bet you have. I've had strange experiences.
Have you had any normal experiences?
The question is, as long as you didn't have to pay for them, it's okay. I'm sorry. She's really a nice lady, and I can only imagine having to deal with those people. I've dealt with rock and rollers. So I've had some very strange experiences, and I didn't have to pay. Well, I did actually, because to make a wrong hire in a rock and roll band, you'll have trouble. All it takes is that one guy, man.
That's right.
My whole career, the only time I've ever really lost my shit, I whipped a stick at a guy.
I slapped the guy's glasses off his face. I slapped the guy's glasses off his face.
Ooh, during the show?
No, afterwards, because he was being a pussy.
Oh, okay. Wow, man, I like you better already.
I know. I've calmed down a lot. That's no way to handle stuff, people. That's no way.
Don't mess with redheads, man. They'll kick your ass. I've married one, have a daughter, man. They're dangerous, dangerous animals. I'll tell you, crazies. You know what? That's what I thought, Gina. And you know, as much as I was poking fun earlier about going down there and handing out money to the bums to keep order, trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'd go down there and have those bums behaving. They'd probably clean it up because there are real crazy there for sure. Let me ask you, Gina, is there a certain sector where, creatures of like flock together or whatever that stupid saying is? Do you find like the real super psycho crazy, like schizophrenic paranoids? Do they all kind of my theory is they probably all hang out in groups because they're all so crazy. They're the only people who can deal with each other. All the other people see them move in the tent next door and they're like, I'm moving to the other, under another overpass because that's some crazy stabby guy or girl. Is that the case out there, Gina? Do they have some of the people who are just like, I know there's lots of normal people who've just had a real shit life go to, you'd be amazed the people you can meet who've been homeless. They walk around like zombies. Yeah, I mean, people, we can poke fun all you want, but boy, just be glad it's not you or a family member, These people are all somebody's kid, and that's the hard thing. Here in New York and Philadelphia, where it's just the same thing. There's a part of Philly, and there's this new drug, and I'm not sure, it's not flakka, because that gets people wanting to bite your face off. But these guys and girls, they just stand up like this, and then they're like this. And they're like that for an hour, 2 hours. You go by and poke them, they might fall over, but they might just sit there on the ground like folded up and all whacked out. Now, I don't care what anybody's idea of artificial joy is. If you like to get high, people, it's not a new thing, people using substances to feel better. Yeah, right? Down in Skid Row, you're certainly right. I remember it was either you or Toby was telling me about that theater downtown that the immediate family guys played at, and how it was like in a really dangerous area, but hopefully people get in and out. I find it in places like that, I've been in many places, and Skid Row's pretty bad, but there's a lot of places like that around the world. You just got to keep your eyes open, look somewhat menacing, and just when they come over, go, I'm packing, don't come over here. Sometimes you got to bluff. And if they say, what are you packing? I'll tell them, it's bigger than your pecker. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I have to close out the week with some dad jokes and just some, stupid, I don't know why. Because I've got 2 minutes left and I'm just sitting here having a little fun, people. And even though there's only a few of us hanging out, for those of you come later, you missed the best part, man. We're not live anymore. It'll be like dead with me.
Be live.
We actually have a series of dead Neve commercials that we have to run again. Actually, what am I doing this weekend? Well, I have a new advertiser for the show, and I'm going to be working on doing the video package and all that stuff. A friend of mine is playing Sunday for everybody here in New Jersey. Norman Selden will be playing at the R Bar in Asbury Park at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Sunday brunch. I'm not giving an ad just because my friends are playing there. You want to see an amazing pair of piano players playing New Orleans second line shit. They'll be playing some Dr. John. They'll be playing all kinds of gumbo. Two amazingly talented pianos. They both sing good. The restaurant has excellent food. Now, let me tell you, folks, this is not cheap food, but it's not shit food, and it's not crazy expensive for what you get. I had some of these stuffed oysters they made, and they were just so exceptional. And, oysters are a good thing. Good for your heart, good for your part. Just the best thing you can do is eat some oysters every day. Make you strong like bull. Trust me. You want to eat there, you want to eat some oysters, you want to take your lady or your dude, you want to get them a little glass of wine, you want to fondle their hand, you want to do all the things. You don't want to go behind them and sniff on them like Biden, especially on your first date.
You smell good.
Oh my God, man. I've seen some crazy stuff, but man, the guy's a sniffer, what can you tell him? I don't really knock him for it. The people have worse fetishes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just kind of a funny one. So yeah, Gina, I'm gonna hopefully go out Sunday and take my girlfriend to go and eat some brunch and watch some piano players. And if not, I'm gonna sit around and read a book and do some work on that project and just hang out and look at the ocean. It's kind of, if the weather sucks, I may have to just load in today with some good food and all the essentials and just hang out, The phone's on the hook. If anybody needs to call me, the best way to reach me is message me on here because my phone will probably be off. And I don't really have anything. I don't know about anybody else. We have 27 seconds. I'm going to ask you an informal question. Do any of you just turn your phone off at any point in the day? Or do you stay on all the time connected, hyper connected at all times? I know if those of us have kids. How about you? Do you keep your phone
Yep.
on? When you're on stage, you keep it on all times?
Yeah, but it's on silent. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that way
I actually, on a weekend, after I've talked to the people who are most important to me, if I'm doing something, I just want to relax and chill out and not be like, I don't watch any news on the weekend. Yeah, Gina, me too. I don't have my watch on right now, but mine is connected to my watch as well. And I do find that really useful. When I first bought it, I didn't really see why. Gina, one of the cool things I found is when you're driving in your car and you're using the GPS on the phone, it prompts you on your Apple, on your watch. And so it's really cool. You know, you're bopping down the road, and rather, if you're listening to music, rather than having your iPad go turn right in 25 minutes, you know, you just hear it, it pops up, vibrates your arm, you look down, you go, oh, okay, it's 2 more exits. Really a good thing. Like Dick Tracy. Yeah, he's dating Barbara Bush, the last I heard. They had a long and meaningful 15 minutes together. Remember, and of that 15 minutes, 10 of it was getting dressed and undressed. Good old Barbara, she had some of that big old granny underwear that they had to pry off with a spatula. Ooh, that's really nice. Georgie never does that. Spank me with that spatula. Oh my God!
That's the perfect.
I know.
way to
I've
show.
heard warnings that the censors are going to be back, and I've been told that this shock collar shit is going to continue until I behave. So I don't know. Let's see what we got here. We're going to be leaving in a few minutes. We're actually running late. Imagine that. But I'm trying to find something here that might just add to the enjoyment. But no, on this note, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. It is a beautiful day here in the neighborhood. I don't know. I think we need a round of holy shit fucking balls. People, I'll see you next week.
Balls.
Here we go. Bye-bye, everybody. I hope you have an excellent weekend. Private message me if you want to talk about anything. And thank you. My newest advertiser kicks ass, and you're going to love it. And where did it go? What happened? Where is all these things? Oh, we got a comment here. That is the worst. Do you hear this?
What?
This is like somebody's idea of music, Dad. This is the kind of shit they send you, and you go, you want to write songs.
That's not right. That's not right. That's ridiculous.
I am a wanker, and so is my wife. We're frosting a cake with a paper knife. We're gonna sing all day like Peter Gabriel. Okay.